I think that there's a reason to believe that we could be going to 70,000 per Bitcoin in the relative near future here. Now, the reason I say that is because roughly double where we are today is 72,000. Now, this is all-time highs. This could be years away. This could be months away. I have no idea, but I do think the $70,000 level is going to be really critical because humans are emotional. And if we look back at the past cycle, we peaked in the high 60s, high $60,000 per US coin. And so crossing that level and getting into the $70,000 range is a massive psychological shift for people. In the same way that most people today are only viewing Bitcoin in tens of thousands of dollars per coin, they haven't ever heard of Bitcoin in the $1, $10, or $100 range. This is their unit bias today. In the same way, once we cross that unit bias into the $70,000 range, I think really quickly we will continue to hit all-time high after all-time high after all-time high in those periods of rapid appreciation here. And there's something important to note about that $70,000 level as well. See, if you're holding cash, waiting on the sidelines, I know lots of people here that in these months in late 2022 and early 2023 were holding very large cash positions because they just wanted Bitcoin to go a little bit lower. Unfortunately, you've lost half your purchasing power in the last year just from holding cash in terms of Bitcoin. Okay. If you're waiting to try to time the bottom, I'm sorry, but it looks like you missed the bottom. Okay. If you're trying to buy at $15,000 again, if you're trying to buy new all-time lows, it would require a 50% crash in Bitcoin's price from today at $36,000 in order for you to be able to do that. So let me ask you, if in the lockdowns of 2020, if when we shut down the world, Bitcoin did a 50% crash, because it did a 50% crash. However, that crash was recovered in a matter of weeks from the amount of money printing that had occurred. Okay. If we look here, Bitcoin crashed from about $10,000 in February of 2020 all the way down 45, 46, 50% to $4,500 in mere weeks to March of 2020. But like I said, it only took weeks. So in my opinion, if you're holding cash on the sidelines, I don't know what you're waiting for. Okay. Your best case scenario is that we have a COVID level size lockdown. We get a rapid 50% crash in Bitcoin down to where the lows were just a mere year ago at $15,000, $16,000. And probably in whatever event that is that occurs, we're probably going to print so much money that Bitcoin is just going to absorb those losses immediately again as we continue to debase those dollars. Okay. So really, do you want to be holding that much cash on the sidelines, hoping and waiting and praying and crossing your fingers that we get at least a 50% crash that maybe will only last days, if not weeks? Don't you think everyone else is also waiting for the same thing? Like, I think the far better risk adjusted decision to make, I think the far better idea is to begin buying Bitcoin if you've not done so already. And if you are buying Bitcoin, but you're still holding on to a lot of cash, I don't think that's the right idea because we've already doubled from the lows. And if we double again, we're going to be hitting that $70,000 level where we will break that unit bias and we'll probably begin appreciating from there. So again, we've already doubled once from the lows to today. We're probably going to double again from today to the $70,000 range at some point in this next cycle. Now, what happens if we double again from there? Well, we get $144,000 per Bitcoin. And if we double again from there, that's $288,000 per Bitcoin. Do I think we'll hit that this cycle? I don't know. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. A lot of it depends on the ETF. A lot of it depends on what interest rates do. A lot of it depends on how much quantitative easing we have. But I do know that the pain you have of seeing that you could have bought at the bottom at $15,000, $16,000 and watching Bitcoin double in the last year will be dwarfed by the pain, theoretically, if Bitcoin hit those high price targets in 70,000, 80,000, 120,000, 288,000, wherever Bitcoin goes. I think it's far more likely that we hit those high price numbers than going back down another 50% sustained in the low teens. Okay. And so, yes, Bitcoin could easily go lower in the future, but I think it's far more likely that it goes higher. And so it's not only important that you begin buying Bitcoin and having your Bitcoin exposure increase as a function of time, but it's also increasingly important, in my opinion, that you also get your self-custody down. Okay. As people have higher and higher demand for Bitcoin, as more ETFs get approved, as there's more attention drawn into Bitcoin and more people buy Bitcoin and serious investments, serious allocations of companies and high net worth individuals, it's increasingly important that you get your self-custody figured out ASAP. Do not wait for Coinbase to go down. Do not wait for exchanges to rehypothecate your coins, yield out your coins, and lose your coins. You should take self-custody immediately. If you don't know how to do that, if you want a multi-sig plan for you, for your kids, for your future, for an estate plan, I do work at the Bitcoin Advisor. Obviously, I'm biased to promote self-custody for that reason. However, I do not believe it's only in my best interest. I also believe it is in your best interest that you begin taking self-custody immediately. And I do think single sig is a great way for you to do that. And I also believe multi-sig is a great way to do that. If you want to learn more about multi-sig and collaborative custody, simply click on the link in the description for the Bitcoin Advisor. I will send you dozens of pages about the Bitcoin Advisor specifically and helpful educational info about collaborative custody and multi-sig solutions for you in general. You can book a meeting with me, or you can talk to me for free, and where you can email me, contact me, and get access to my calendar there. So whatever the case, whether you're buying a lot of Bitcoin, a little Bitcoin, a high percentage, a low percentage, my message to you is Bitcoin is probably going to go down, but it's probably more likely it's going to go up. And so the question is, what is your time horizon? The longer your time horizon, the more sense it makes just to smash buy and just to wait. Even if you smash buy today, $36,000, and we do have that massive crash, 50% from some sort of macro event that lasts a few weeks or maybe in a few months, will it matter in a year? Will it matter in 5 years? Will people think that you were an idiot for buying Bitcoin at $3.6 when then it crashed to $2.2 or $2.5 when then it's gone up by a factor of 100 or 1,000 since then? It's the same thing here today. Will people care when Bitcoin is 10 million or $100 million a coin? Will people care if you bought Bitcoin at 36 or 32 or 39 or 24 or 15 or $45,000? Will they care? No, they won't. But it will be really, really embarrassing for you if your story is, yeah, I found Bitcoin at $5, but I just held a bunch of cash because I thought it was too expensive. That is the embarrassing story. Do not be that person. If you're going to start saving in Bitcoin, start saving in Bitcoin as soon as possible, as much as you can. Stay humble. Don't get over leveraged. Don't rehypothecate your Bitcoin. Take self-custody, multi-sig, single sig, whatever. You can find me in the description. My point is, please do not hold political currency on the sidelines unless you are really confident that you know what you're doing. And I suspect most people that are really confident knowing what they're doing are still making the wrong choice. I'm glad that you're taking the time to learn about Bitcoin, learn about Bitcoin's potential future value, both in terms of political currency units and on society as a whole. And I'm really glad that you're taking the effort to study and educate yourself about Bitcoin. However, I must make this message incredibly clear. If you are learning about Bitcoin, you must begin also learning about self-custody and taking possession of your own keys. This is really, really important. You can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, talking about how Bitcoin is going to skyrocket in fiat price and how the number is going to go up. You can talk about that all you want. You can daydream about this kind of vertical spike action for Bitcoin. You can daydream about this all you want. But my encouragement to you is that this is not a meme. This is not something to be taken lightly. We can think that this is a good thing, and it is a good thing ultimately for Bitcoin's long-term adoption, but this is real. Okay, this really happens in countries. You know, it may not happen in your country for some time. It may happen in a stair-step fashion, but this is not a meme. This is not a joke. And so, therefore, you need to take self-custody really, really seriously. Okay. I work full-time in self-custody solutions for people. I help people set up their multi-sig vaults. I help people set up their estate plans. I help people with a collaborative custody partnership and collaborative custody models. Okay. This is a chart of the amount of interest we have at the Bitcoin Advisor, the company I work at. Okay. This is not me personally. This is the whole company. We've been in business 7 years. Not a single client of ours has ever lost a single sat. Okay. We have a good number of clients, and this is our demand. My point in showing you this chart, my point in showing you this message right now is that it is increasingly urgent, increasingly important that you begin taking self-custody very seriously. I'm telling you, I'm on the inside of this all day, every day, 6 days a week, and demand for self-custody is skyrocketing, okay? The kinds of clients we have, the number of clients we have, the conviction in the clients we have, it is only going up, okay? And people are booking meetings with me weeks, okay, in advance. In some cases, over a month in advance. And we are in bear market, okay? This chart right here is from October 2023. Okay, like incredible low interest globally in Bitcoin, and our demand is still skyrocketing, it's still spiking. And my encouragement is that if we have a bull run, if we have parabolic spikes such as this, where Bitcoin goes rapidly upwards in terms of price, if we have these periods of time, okay, transaction fees are going to spike. Okay, exchanges are going to halt withdrawals. Okay, people are going to panic. They're going to smash by any price. Okay, it's going to be increasingly difficult to have any time with people to help you in your self-custody setups. So first and foremost, whatever you do, whether you work with me at the Bitcoin Advisor, whether you go somewhere else, whether you figure it out on your own, whatever the case, please start figuring out self-custody, hot wallets, cold wallets, cold wallets, single sig, multi-sig, whatever you do, just start figuring it out now, because I'm increasingly alarmed by the number of Bitcoiners that do not have self-custody. So please, if you have any Bitcoin self-custody, but especially if you have a large amount of Bitcoin in self-custody, please start taking this stuff seriously because it's only going to be increasingly important in the future. And so, if you'd like to work with me, if you'd like to hear my opinions, perspectives, and ideas on this topic, you can find me at the Bitcoin Advisor. This is precisely why I work at the Bitcoin Advisor, because I believe this is such an important topic here. Okay. You can find me there. You can have expert guidance on how to self-custody Bitcoin, to buy, secure, and store it properly for the long term. We can have tailored strategies for you, what your long-term vision is, both for yourself, your own individual future, your retirement, and for your future generations as well. Again, multi-sig vaults, estate plans, all these things for you. Okay. You can just book a free meeting with me here and the link down below in the description. Again, the first consultation is completely free where we can talk about your priorities and see if there's a value add both for you and for the Bitcoin Advisor as well. And again, our goal is to help you have generational wealth for you and your loved ones and your children without losing sleep. Okay. And that's why not only do you get a free initial consultation, but you have dozens and dozens of pages of education about multi-sig, self-custody, how to store your Bitcoin properly, things to avoid, things to pursue. Okay. Again, dozens and dozens of pages of free education for you to be learning about this increasingly important, increasingly urgent topic. Okay. And then you can learn further about the Bitcoin Advisor and why we provide much more value for half the cost of our competitors. You can learn about all this and more in that link in the description where you can book a free consultation with me at the Bitcoin Advisor. So again, whatever you do, whether you work with me at the Bitcoin Advisor or you try to figure out on your own, please just start taking action now. Because in a couple of years, higher and higher net worth people are going to be entering the space and demanding self-custody. Okay. More and more companies, more and more charities, more and more pension funds, more and more churches, all of these things, all of these groups of people, all these entities are going to be coming into Bitcoin very quickly. And they'll be willing to pay the transaction fees. They'll be willing to pay whatever fiat price and get for their sats. They'll be willing to do the self-custody as fast as possible. And so my encouragement to you, again, I'm glad you're enjoying these videos. I really appreciate you subscribing and commenting and being a part of these videos and increasing your Bitcoin education. But please, please, please do not stop at the end of this video. Immediately after you watch the end of this video, please start taking your self-custody seriously, whether that's with me at the Bitcoin Advisor, again, link in the description, or it's on your own. Whatever the case, please just do it. Thank you.